Netflix has decided to air a third season of Sweet Magnolias, and in light of the cliffhanger ending last season, it is exactly what we need to hear. The fans are all set to return back to Serenity once again, and for good reason, because there are a lot of questions that we all need answers to. So in today's video, we'll be talking about all you can expect from the third season of the show. First off, when is it releasing? According to social media tweets from the writers' room, Season 3 of Sweet Magnolias was accepted in May 2022. They just wrote the following: "We're returning to Serenity, everyone. We are thrilled to announce that Sweet Magnolias will return for a third season. We're delighted to welcome you home." The cast and crew announced the start of filming for the new episodes on July 18th by sharing a picture of the flowers and the show's name on the backs of their director's chairs. They wrote, "Shall we begin? So excited to welcome everyone home to Serenity for day one of Sweet Magnolias Season 3 filming." Since then, things have moved along steadily, and we are happy to inform you that production finally ended in October, which means we are moving much nearer to that elusive premiere date. Showrunner Cheryl J. Anderson made the announcement. "We still don't know when the girls will be returning to our screens. Given that the two seasons before it didn't have a similar release date, it is also difficult to establish a reasonable assumption. Due in major part to pandemic-related delays, Season 2 didn't debut until February 2022, after Season 1 did in May 2020. The typical production time for a show like this, which requires little special effects, ranges from 9 months to slightly more than a year. With that said, we wouldn't anticipate any fresh episodes of Sweet Magnolias to air in the spring of 2023 or between April and June. Next, who's in the cast? Well, Joanna Garcia Swisher as Maddie Townsend, Brooke Elliott as Dana Sue Sullivan, and Heather Headley as Helen Decatur are the key Magnolias of Sweet Magnolias, and the show simply wouldn't work without them. All have been assured to come back. They will be joined by their children, Tyler, played by Carson Rowland, Kyle by Logan Allen, and Annie, played by Annalise Judge. Even though Chris Klein as the sleazy Bill had a smaller role in Season 2, he still had an impact on the main cast, so it's likely that he'll make 1 or 2 appearances, even if it's just to check in on his countless offspring. Jamie Lynn Spears, who plays new mom Noreen, has also announced she'll be back, sharing photographs from her dressing room on the first day of production with the message, "It's giving #Season 3 on Instagram." The Natural Blonde had earlier teased Noreen's return by posting a selfie of herself with her hair colored brown, the color of her character's hair. In Season 2, Brandon Quinn, who plays Maddie's on and off spouse, Ronnie, went through a small redemption journey and was welcomed back into the household. Therefore, you can probably count on his return unless something important happens and there is a temporal gap where he vanishes. There might also be some newcomers to the show, but those haven't been announced yet, hopefully soon. Lastly, how will the show progress? Even before it was officially confirmed, the show's creator, Cheryl J. Anderson, openly discussed her hopes for a third season and hinted at what the gang will go through, especially when it involves a nefarious character from Dana Sue's past returning to haunt her. At Mrs. Francis's funeral, Dana Sue's daughter, Annie, was confronted by an unidentified woman who referred to her mother as a life ruiner in the Season 2 finale. By the end of the episode, the same woman had been seen slashing the Sullivans' delivery van's tires on a camera phone. After allowing Ronnie back into the house, Dana is also attempting to mend her marriage with him. Will they stay together, or will he go back to his old ways, which included cheating on her? Dana Sue is just the beginning of what's going on though, as the season was left on a terrible cliffhanger when Helen accepted Ryan's marriage proposal. Now, she has to choose between him and Eric, her present lover. Isaac is the last person we'll talk about. He now knows who his real parents are, but it's been difficult to predict how they'll react to him. Bill, who appeared to be the most fertile guy in Serenity, showed little interest in his second child, who, to be honest, he was unaware of until this point. But after the dust has settled, will he have a change of heart, or will he get alarmed at Isaac's strong relationship with Noreen? Now, let's talk about the biggest unanswered questions in season 2 of the show. First off, what will Helen's response be to Ryan's proposal? Helen meets Eric Whitley in the books, and maybe that will inspire people to believe in real love. As we watch their friendship develop into something more in season 2, the couple viewers have wished to see together since the show's inaugural season eventually materializes. The relationship is successful right away as Eric drives Helen to her doctor visits and gradually shares the traumatic experience that brought him to Serenity. The final few seconds of the program deliver the kind of bombshell no one wanted to see, yet their connection proves to be a beacon of light and makes the wait worthwhile. While it's obvious why some of her relationships didn't work out, Helen says earlier in the season during a talk with Ty that she might be able to go back to her first. She uses exactly the word maybe. This is important to keep in mind when Helen's ex-boyfriend Ryan unexpectedly shows up at Miss Francis's funeral and tells Helen that he wants to start a family with her. Although Ryan's opposition to having children was their main disagreement, it is difficult to believe that she will end her relationship with Eric merely because Ryan changes his mind. But it does lead us to wonder if she'll give it any thought while she's unmarried for a while. Next, will the scandal cause Maddie and Cal to fall out? Season 2 of Sweet Magnolias greatly deepens the bond between Maddie and Cal, but it ends with a controversy that doesn't bode well for the marriage. The former baseball star's past is now more clear to us, but there is still plenty to be said about whether or not he is the right kind of person to be in Maddie's life. After the altercation at Sullivan's, he probably spent a night or two in jail, so we wonder whether there will be a short-term breach between the two. Even while the Magnolias frequently manage to overcome the controversy in their lives, we can't help but wonder whether Maddie can no longer handle it. It might be too much for one person, considering everything that arises from finding that Bill is also Isaac's father, and Bill having additional burdens to bear due to how the town would respond to Cal's actions. Something tells us that Maddie will require assistance in figuring out how to handle everything while yet maintaining her grace. Maddie and Cal are a good team, but sometimes a couple needs to work on themselves in order to be even more effective together. While we are confident they will prevail, the route appears to be more difficult than straightforward, with a fight as visible as the one at Sullivan's. After that, has Cal changed and put his rage aside? In the end, the altercation at Sullivan's makes us question how much of Cal's history is truly in the past. Earlier in the series, we could detect his rage, but he frequently says that he has control over it. But the conflict shows the reverse. Even though Stu agitates Cal and essentially hits on Maddie, that is still no justification for the outburst. Even if we are quite certain that Cal is not a threat, we must nevertheless consider the influence his background has had on him. Through Ashley Davenport, played by Gary Weeks, Sweet Magnolias Season 2 does a fantastic job of introducing therapy, and we're expecting that more characters will begin to focus more on their mental health in Season 3. Cal still has a lot of things to manage, and some circumstances put pressure on him rapidly. He's likely going to need a better handle on his history if he wants to be a part of Maddie's life and set a better example for her boys. Moving on, who is the woman slashing the tires? Mary Von Lewis isn't the Magnolias' biggest threat, as the final few seconds of the season finale reveal. When Everett's character, Kathy, a mysterious character, returns to Serenity to wreak havoc on Sullivan's, we are all left to wonder who she is after she stops Annie and asks whether she's Dana Sue's daughter before remarking that Annie looks like something she would spit out and walking off scornfully. honestly. But we don't find out she has a grudge against them all until Tyler posts a video of her slashing tires on the Serenity Secrets 415 Instagram account. It's difficult to identify Kathy because the show doesn't always reproduce the books exactly. Whoever she is, she poses a threat to the three ladies, without a doubt, possibly even more so to Dana Sue. And given Helen's tone at the moment, there isn't much they can do. Could she be the person with whom Ronnie had an affair, given that she turns up on the day of Miss Frances's funeral? Can she somehow relate to her? She is definitely not a Southern belle, and whatever happens now won't be good for the residents of Serenity. Lastly, why did Miss Frances pick Dana Sue to receive the cash? After Miss Frances passes away, we learn that she leaves behind a sizable sum of money, specifically for Dana Sue, but neither the audience nor the women are aware of the reason for this. We continue to wonder why Dana Sue was chosen, because she never acts intentionally. Did she admire Sullivan's to the point where she wanted to make sure it always had money? Is she connected to her in any way? Does she have information that we don't? Although Dana Sue is deserving of the money, we can't help but worry that it won't go as planned and cause her to accumulate extra debt. We still don't know a lot about Dana Sue's past, which makes us wonder if this will reveal more about it. Let's hope we get the answers to these questions in the next season. That's a wrap for this video. How excited are you for the upcoming season of Sweet Magnolias? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.